cut these hating hoes off. Like a fresh fade, get to a bag. I can do this shit like Eric, read it. I'm so raw in, uncut, and they know. If I'm blessed from the tip to my head to my toes, this here's the real raw. Let's talk, show it. If you wanna learn some, sit back and listen to me flow. If it's about some money, let's talk about it. If it can change the world, let's talk about it. If you're an entrepreneur, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. If it's about some money, let's talk about it. If it can change the world, let's talk about it. If you're an entrepreneur, let's talk about it. I'm so raw in, uncut, and they know. If I'm blessed from the tip to my head to my toes, this here's the real raw. Let's talk, show it. If you wanna learn some, sit back and listen to me flow.
Active, rocking, uncut. What's going on, y'all? It is 7 o'clock hour. And you know what that is? It's a real raw let's talk time. What's going on, y'all? It's your girl, it's your host, okay? T Pretty Smile in the building. Now, y'all, I want to thank y'all, okay? Because you could be doing anything else. You could be listening to another podcast. You could be cleaning up them dishes that's been sitting there, okay? Anybody? No? Okay. Just me? Okay. So y'all could be anywhere else, but you here, and I appreciate you for tuning in. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm your host. Let me tell you just a little bit about me for those who are just joining in. Okay. So, like I said, I'm your host. I'm a cancer survivor. I'm a baby. I'm just a whole lot in one. Okay. I'm a mom. I'm a podcast host. I'm your BTS bestie. I'm your To Be Tuesday lover. Okay, where I give you the hottest review. But tonight, I'm your podcast host, okay? Now, tonight, y'all, I got two handsome men on the line with me tonight, and I can't wait for them to join me. But before we go there, y'all, we got to get into what? Our church announcements. Our church announcements. Now, for y'all just tuning in, Real Raw Let's Talk is a podcast slash interview segment. You know, we're a podcast where we like to talk about things that people just really ain't diving into, okay? Or just diving in a little bit more, right? So we like to highlight your business. We like to talk about your business. We like to talk about those conversations that we kind of keep on the low. And tonight is definitely one of them, okay? So let's go on to our church announcements. Now, first, let's give yourself a hand because you made it to Thursday, right? Which is almost Friday. We almost there at the stretch, y'all. But we made it to Thursday. We made it. We made it, okay? The week may have been hard, and for anybody out there who knows how a week can be hard, it's your sister here, okay? That's why y'all don't have no To Be Tuesday this week, okay? I know y'all was upset about it. I know. But your girl got a new one for you next week, and I need you to tune into that, okay? Because I'm giving you a real hot one next week. And I might give you two, just because I missed out, okay? I might give you two this week, all right? So let's tune back into these announcements for all my lipstick girlies, okay? Lipstick girlies, come to the front. All my lipstick girlies, come to the front, okay? Look, your girl is assistant to the brand GGK Lipstick Diary, okay? That's GG Lipstick Diary. If you need to just up your lipstick closet, okay, your lipstick game, and you wondering like how T Pretty lips just say so pretty, well, that's because GGK Lipstick Diary is the number one brand to go get your lipstick game up. Okay, go over to Instagram. Go to GGK Lipstick Diary. All one word. Okay, you're gonna see the CEO Shauna Mills in the building. Y'all make sure y'all go follow my girl. And like I said, Mother's Day gonna be coming up. It's a lot of holidays. Christmas ain't too far. You know, before we blink, Christmas is here. So go ahead and upgrade your lipstick collection and give your mama some. Mother's Day coming up. Go ahead and hook her up too. Now, back to these announcements, y'all. Let's see. Now, for y'all, I have had a lot of y'all inbox me about reviews, about getting BTS. I definitely have. So let me clear up the air. If you have a movie, whether that's Tubi, whether that's Prime, whether that's Netflix, you know, I'm a Tubi Tuesday lover, okay? But I do also reviews on other films. So if you got a film Okay, anybody in the film industry, okay, hit me up if you want a girl to review your movie. And the only realest way that I can do it, I'm gonna be real, okay? If you don't know now, you know. All right. So definitely hit my inbox, okay? Just DM me movie review, and I will get at you with how you can get your movies reviewed by your girl T Pretty. All right. Now, also make sure you go subscribe, make sure you follow on YouTube. Right now, a lot of y'all may be on the Facebook page, or if you're on the nostalgic page, go holler at your girl on the YouTube page. Hit subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, okay? Because we definitely gonna be dropping some good stuff coming up real soon, okay? And I ain't gonna be dropping it on Facebook. I'm only gonna drop it on YouTube. So I need y'all to go follow, okay? Over to the YouTube, all right? Now, last but not least, okay, let's talk about these guests I got tonight. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, okay? So tonight, y'all, I got Mr. George Brooks. For y'all that don't know, baby George is a whole lot, okay? A lot of y'all may know him as Meta, okay? But George is a lot, and we're going to definitely dive in a lot with him tonight. We're going to talk about brotherhood, manhood, okay, young folkshood. We're going to talk about it, all right? So I definitely need y'all to tune in. George comes from a background of mental health advocate. He's a public speaker, a Black conservative, and he's done over 50 panels. Okay, so he know a little something what he's talking about. So tonight we are definitely gonna be getting some knowledge and wisdom from him. And tonight you in luck because we got Dr. Jason Dixon on the line with us. Okay, the man behind the scene is coming to the front of the scene tonight. All right. So y'all stay tuned because Jason is the what CEO of Nostalgic. Okay, so he gets to come to the forefront with us today. So y'all stay tuned. Like I'm gonna tell y'all as always, you got time to go grab your snacks. Okay, go and put that show you want to watch. Go ahead and pre-record that because we're gonna come back to that. Okay, I know it's Thursday. I know you're gonna come back to it. All right, but go get your snacks, go get your drinks, and come back. If you know anybody who is a Black brother, okay, Black brother who got a son or they just got some Black youth. Okay, I need you to tag them because tonight's conversation is definitely one that I need all my Black brothers in. Okay, I need my Black brothers in the building. Okay, so go grab your snacks and your girl. We're gonna catch you back with George and Dr. Jason in just a minute. Y'all stay tuned.
Still searching, meaning in this life, why this world turning? Yeah, if I'm alright, I don't care about a like. I know the bigger picture got a bigger purpose. Yeah, you know I'm stacking this money, but somehow still lost in my 20s. Funny we lost hope when COVID taught us to cope. Who would've thought that the world was alone hurting? Yeah, looking at my little brother. Depression is the quickest way to cause murder. Yeah, in grade school other people murmur, but he's still alive. I call him the overcomer. Some days I think, do God see us? Life is a balance. Young talented Libra who seeks peace but keeps tough, who needs G's and Jesus, who turns east and prays up. With one girl he lays up, the family on his mind. He can't run, nah, he can't run. Putting things down into action, making a plan. No more telling other people I ain't showing my hands. Got a goal on my mind, I ain't kicking the can. Homeboys call like when we kicking again. Old friends, new friends, I got life changes, new man. I'm not one to hate on you, and we are trying to make it to a conclusion. Let it out, yeah, let it out, let it out, yeah, let it out. Oh, I said let it out. Yeah, I'm just trying to be free. Turn me up, yeah. I've been sleeping every night with a different plan in my mind. Am I getting any close to that man you designed? I ain't looking for a handout, praying for a sign, but I figure faith could make the stars you align. Them other girls I would play time, yeah, but with you I can make time. The passion you got like grapevines, I know we'll both grow in age like great wine, yeah. Cause life is a poetry book. All these wrong turns, you don't wanna go look. And this pain that I felt before is no more. Everything getting better when you know you enough, yeah. Can't stress a thing I don't know. And I pray for friends I've outgrown. Most things nowadays are bluff, but I'm trying to know that God who was burning a bush. Sitting on top of the world, top of the world, top of the world. Sitting on top of the world, top of the world, top of the world. Sitting on top of the world, top of the world, top of the world. Sitting on top of the world, top of the world, top of the world. Let it run, G. Bring the bongos in. Yeah. So soulful. Yeah. I write this last chapter for you and us. 7 years, bro, man, what a rush. Crazy how, even when we out of place, high school pace taught us to be tough. Everything ends in the end, do it. The friendship blend, but it's still moving. Yeah. Somewhere in the earth playing old music that we never dropped and forgot we was cold doing. I can't tell you a lie. See your family, you know I feel happy inside. All these memories collect, be the happiest times. I hope that we cross paths even after this life. Yeah, one thing in life I do know, everything is meant for your growth. I just wanna see us all getting close to the days we can shout to success with a toast. Yeah, sitting on top of the world, top of the world, top of the world. I'm sitting on top of the world, top of the world, top of the world. Sitting on
Top of the world, top of the world. Oh, well. We are back. We are back. We are back. So I hope you got your snacks and I hope you got your drinks because, like I said, tonight we are in for a treat. Okay. Now, before I bring on our special guest, I definitely want to say, like, for generations, right? Black men have carried us, right? Carried us as a provider, as a father, as protectors. They've always been on the front line. And so tonight, it's 2026. So I want to ask, like, what do you think that the youth, black young youth men, right? What do they need from us? Not as a woman, but just as a world, just matter of fact, even from our black men, what do they need from our black men, right? So tonight I want to talk about brotherhood. I want to talk about mentorship. I want to talk about manhood, like who defined it for you. So in that, I want to bring on Dr. Jason, and I want to bring Mr. George on as well, so we can talk about this tonight. What other way to do this besides bringing on two profound black men, right? And there are fathers as well, and they have young black men. So I think tonight will be the perfect conversation for that. So let's bring them all in the room. I like the drum roll. Voila, ta-da.
I had to make a special entrance. I don't come on much.
You don't. And I really appreciate both of y'all coming on. I know y'all had a busy schedule, but I really appreciate Jason, you taking out the time on the backdrop to come in the front with us. And George, I definitely appreciate you. I've been wanting to have you on the show. Again, it's just been a matter of time when I was going to have you on because you just come with so much expertise and so much knowledge. And I feel like that needs to be taken seriously. And I definitely want to put your brain on the topic tonight because you come with so much that I feel like you can offer, as well as Jason as well.
Right. Thank you.
So, of course. So, to start off the topic tonight, right, we're talking about manhood, who defined it for you. But first, let's talk about what is the most important role that a black man should play when it comes to the life of young black youth.
In any relationship where you have a black male dealing with a black child, whether it's a nephew, uncle, son, whatever, even if it's a stranger, to me, in my life, and I'll be 48 Saturday, what I've learned up to this moment is try to be the best example that you can for them by trying to be the best person and man that you can be for yourself. That's first.
Mm.
You must make sure if we go through this process as fathers, especially at our age, where we're realizing now, and I think that men are realizing now that in order to truly be there for our children and especially our sons, we must be whole. And I think you're seeing a trend of more black men going into therapy and things like that. And that's something I've worked on for the past 8 years. And I bleed it every day. So I think that's the most important thing that we need to start shifting. As far as being a provider, those can be intangibles because support can be emotional and financial, but we can get into that. But I think the first priority, if you would have asked me, if my sons would have looked me in the eye and say, Dad, what's the most important thing that you can do for me? And they would tell me, try to be a good example. Try to be a good, but you
Mm.
got to be healed. You got to be whole to do that. And a lot of us black men, I'm glad we're doing this now. We're starting to see the holes in our armor. You know, the things that have hurt us or maybe have impeded us as men. And I think we're making more of an effort to kind of fix ourselves for them because I've dealt with incarcerated individuals for the past 8 years through my nonprofit, and one of the things and one of the reasons I'm passionate about it because I've always preached that we need to return those men and women back to our communities whole so they could be because they're parents. You know, we need to provide
Mm.
things for their mental health care while they are incarcerated so they're not coming out all messed up. And you want these people to reintegrate into society, but you don't want to take care of them and make sure what are you returning, so what do you expect. So it goes very deep as far as examples as you can see, but the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that's the most important thing we can do is be good examples by being healed and whole as men.
I like that. I definitely agree, and I agree with you on the mental standpoint. Like again, if you have these men incarcerated, if the jail is supposed to be a rehabilitation, how is that working when you're not offering those things for them to be
Right.
rehabilitated? We're not
Right.
offering the mental help. We're not offering. It's a shame that have more access to the worldly things, drugs, and all this. Is easier to get in jail than outside jail. How does that work? So I definitely feel you on that for sure.
Right.
Jason, go ahead.
To me, it's just to just be there, to be
Yeah.
present.
Right.
All
Okay.
those things George said is great, but those to me, George, are all tangibles. The biggest thing that any man can be in a young man's life, whether it's a nephew, cousin, is to be there.
and
Because
that's and it's
Mm,
I've learned over my 50 years that um, just there for them to talk, whether you're healed, broken, just be there. Because sometimes just being there lets them know, let young men know, especially young men know, that
right.
it's okay to come to a situation broken.
Right.
We're
Right.
so busy trying to fix us that we're not talking about what's hurting us.
Exactly.
mm,
And that's why I've always said for 8 years that black men need I've been in therapy for over 7 years. It's been a life changer. I always preach about therapy because for the simple fact that what I see just in personal relationships with other brothers and in my advocacy work is that many of us a lot of us have been present, but the thing is we're being more conscious of what we've been presenting our kids with. Has it been us that's
mm,
dealt with our stuff? It's okay to be present, but sometimes no father's better than a bad father, so we're trying to get ourselves straight so we can give our kids our best. Because when I decided to get off my cocaine addiction, it was for me selfishly, and that's what God said, do it for you. But at the same time, I'd always been present with my son. But what was I giving him? I wasn't
Okay,
giving him the
I'm
best
back.
for me. So that's why that healing had to come first. You can be present,
mm-hmm,
but if you're giving them trash, what you think you're gonna get out? So you got to be the best healed man you can be, so you can be present and be worth something.
I'm back. I'm sorry,
mm.
guys. My daughter knocked my internet box out. Um, but
Uh-oh.
my thing about it is, and George, I like you that you said that, but here's the thing though. You can be healed and still broken.
True,
Mm.
because
That
healing
is
is a
true.
process, and that's the thing. That's the thing. A lot. I
So
think I try
either
to tell a lot of
way,
black men, you got it. When you healing, it's not a finite thing because
right.
that's a lifelong process.
But
And
I
I
was
think I'm dealing. In always I'm broken right
right.
now,
But here's the thing
but
though, that's
I'm.
what I'm
Mhm.
saying. You can say you're healed and still be broken. There
You're
are
never
parts to
healed.
healing.
You're never
So
healed.
when
You're
I say
always
just
healing, but we are
so when
none
I
of us are
say
ever
just
healed.
be there, I'm meaning be there to listen, be there for
Right.
them to talk, be there for them to, because just because I'm broken in one area doesn't mean I'm broken in another. So you
That's
don't
true.
know
Mm.
what part of healing.
But you can only realize those parts if you embark on healing on a consistent
I
basis. Otherwise,
understand that, but
a lot of things that we don't know.
Yeah, but the thing about it is you don't know what they're going through unless you be there for them to talk. That's why I say
Exactly.
Exactly,
be
but
there.
I guess the reason why there may be a little bit juxtaposition in our positions in there because I've always talked to my boys. So that I don't really gravitate toward guys that don't do that. So a lot of that stuff I don't see because I don't tolerate it. So if a guy's
Hmm.
not there for his kids to listen to, then I work with them on that because that's a process. But that goes back to us being healed because a lot of us men don't know how to communicate.
Right.
Right.
And that's true.
Yeah,
That's
but the
true. Yeah.
communication is definitely important. But a lot of things, y'all. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I take for granted because I always been there for my son. So a lot of the chasms that other people experience are kind of foreign to me, and honestly, so but it just offers a different perspective. So
But that's why I say, but that's why my whole point of saying there, just be there,
right, yeah,
because sometimes
Yeah.
we look so much of looking at people. I hear coaches say, "Well, I'm a specialist in this, or I'm a specialist in that, or and I'm like, when people ask me, I'm like, look, I'm just here. If you
right, right,
tell me a problem or tell me what you got going on, I'm just gonna have a conversation with you because sometimes you're
right,
not asking me to fix it. Sometimes you just need to release it. And from that
Hmm.
release, you'll find your own answers and how you need to deal with it.
right.
I can
Yeah,
That's
come and
true.
tell you my story and tell you what I did, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Because
exactly.
Hmm.
what I tell people is, I've been on my own since I was 13. So when it comes to, I had to learn to be the man that I am. I had to learn to talk because it was stuff I didn't know at 13. So I had to, hey man, how'd you do this? Or how did I do this? How do I do that? How do I get this done? So I've never had a problem coming and talking
Right,
to another man about anything. But that doesn't mean that my sons were the same way.
right.
I
Hmm.
And you know what really shapes masculinity these days more than anything, and I've been preaching this for about the past year. Masculinity is really subjective in this sense that I'm realizing more that the notions of masculinity have changed generationally, especially over the past 40 years, in terms of what exactly that means. But really it's shaped by your experience and your life, and I think there are some basic tenets of masculinity that people question nowadays, but it's really subjective, and we're shaped by our sense of masculinity every day, and that's a funny thing to deal with. Well, I got a deep story on that just came to mind, but we have to understand that I mean, your masculinity, your sense of it is going to be different from mine based on experience. Okay,
Hmm.
Yeah, but
and I think
masculine.
when yes, sir.
Go ahead.
But
No, go
masculine.
ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, T. Go ahead, T.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't think masculinity makes up manhood. It's not a substitute for manhood.
Oh, that's two different
Um,
things. Yeah, they're independent of each
yeah,
other.
definitely so. But on the question, I actually wrote this question out as a podcast question today, and a lot of people were chiming into it. Again, back to I asked, what is the most important role a black man should play in the life of a black youth today? Was that provider, protector, or there's some that we're not teaching them enough of? And so I have Gina Marie. She said that's a great question. She said, because I can't think of most important, they all flow together, right? But then you have Letha Thornton. She says, understanding along with other things you mentioned. In my experience, older people talk or down talk youth. They tell them what they need to be doing instead of getting to know them to find out why they do what they do. And I think that's a gap that definitely does need to be bridged.
Mhm,
Because a lot of times we do a lot of talking at kids and not talking with kids. And I
that
But
think the
but
with
that
is
comes
how
from
we get
culture.
understanding culture. That's so
That
true.
comes from culture. That comes from what we know. Because let me say something real quick. Um, you know, T. I talk about this on my show a lot. We talk about everybody thinks that's a bad thing, but what when you were growing up, your and my granddad was there. He taught me a lot of lessons if I just be quiet and listen.
mhm,
The youth nowadays don't want to be quiet and listen because they're in a position where they think they know everything.
mhm,
And they
True.
only listen when life hits them hard. Once they run at the train full speed, and then when it hits them, they're looking back at the older people like, how come nobody didn't tell me?
mhm.
But
So
then but then we all experienced that though, where we all bumped our heads
I
unnecessarily
agree
though.
with you, but we were told, and back when I grew up, we listened. We might have still ran to the same train, but when it hit, we were like, "Whoa, this is what my mom was talking about." When I had my
Yeah.
son, and my mom used to always say, "Wait till you have kids of your own."
Yep. Your
I think
favorite
if you
line.
have kids, you understand that now.
Yeah.
Because now you see why they were so protective. But when you talk about the youth of this day and age, here's the difference. There's a morality there that is missing. They
Mm,
don't have the same morals. See,
Right.
we used to get mad at our parents for making us go to church, but here's the thing: the church instilled, whether we were listening, playing around, or what, but because we heard it,
foundation.
it instilled a foundation in us.
Yeah.
Well,
Men
yeah.
talking to other men or even young men nowadays is hard to do because the young men are not receptive unless they come from a place where either the mom built that reception into them or their dad and their mom did it.
Mhm.
But let them come from a broken place. And this is why I say just be there.
Mhm.
Because the way you conform them is if they show out, quit trying to tell them that they're showing out. Just listen to them. Whether they're
Mhm.
yelling,
Mm,
screaming, kicking, crying. And I know this just from the group homes that I have.
Right.
Once they calm down, they're going to be ready to talk. And the problem is nobody listens. Everybody wants to hear.
hmm.
Let me tell you how you should handle this. No, let me listen to you so I can figure out the correct way to handle this and put you on the right track instead of trying to tell you. We live in a world where black men are constantly being told what to do, how to do,
Yep.
how to live, how to do this, what makes a man, what don't make you a man. We're told
Hmm.
so much that our identity is shaken. And
Mm,
ironically, I'm gonna say something that hurt everybody feeling. I'm just talking about what's done to us by our own culture.
Right.
Take
mm.
all the other races out of there.
Wow.
And then let alone what's done to us by black women
Exactly.
when we're not providing for them.
Exactly.
I feel that.
And I'm not on a hate or I hate black women. I love, my wife, I love her. But at the end of the day, a lot of us are lost because if, for example, let's talk about it, real talk. If a black man gets up and go to work every day, pay all the bills, provide for his home, and you get to sit at home, you know what a black woman will say? I got bored and you're not
Yep.
doing enough.
I'm not happy. You hear that a
You got
lot.
some like that. Yeah.
I'm not saying
You
all,
got some
we're
like that.
just putting them in categories, right? Some
Yeah.
black women will be like, you're not doing enough because they're so busy looking over at what their neighbors are doing. So if they're going out on plenty of dates, if they're taking hella vacations, guess what? I want that life. So
And
this
I've
over here
uh,
isn't worthy anymore. Go ahead, George.
and the thing is, a lot of these lives that they want to emulate are manufactured anyway. They don't know how the people are basically lease their soul out to drive that car. That's not really reality. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
And
true.
they I mean black men, to me black men are the most one of the most abused diasporas in humanity because we're always feared if we show any emotion we're told we're angry, and a lot of times our women now talk down to us, make us feel less than because they want to live a certain lifestyle. It's so many deep layers into this, but a lot of it is like we're sleeping with the enemy almost sometimes. I'm sorry if that makes people mad, but a lot of us black men do feel that way.
What do you feel like that as black men that's needed right now? Like, what do you feel like needed for black men
What's
So
killing the
that
black
we're not
community,
getting?
what's strangling us as a diaspora and may kill us off is the fact that, and a lot of it started with my generation when we start having kids, we've taken accountability out of our kids. And well, no matter what you talking about, the Bible, the baseball field, whatever, everything starts with accountability. We stop holding these kids accountable. We stop having standards for them. We've lowered the standards. We and nobody needed to do that worse than us. but we lowered our standards so far, and we've given our kids nothing to aspire to and no expectations that we made them weak.
And I would,
We feel like they're entitled. I think we,
We have
I think it
entitlement
comes
culture.
from, yes. I don't know. And to me, I feel like I don't know where that happened
I,
from
ooh,
because
ooh,
I feel
Us,
like
raise
we
my hand
come
on that.
from,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
but
raise.
I feel like the older generation, it don't have no accountability theirself a lot of times.
And
So
you're
exactly,
a lot
absolutely right.
of times you got
exactly.
kids trying to hold the adult, accountable. So there's no accountability there.
Yeah, but I'll tell
Exactly.
you, I'll answer the question on where it came from. It came from
But
it came from this situation where we came from poverty.
Hmm.
So when we were in
mm,
poverty, we said, here's the thought process. You can't nobody listening, can't nobody on this podcast tell me you haven't thought this. What happened was we came from poverty, so we said once we built and we grew, that we were going to provide for our kids by any means necessary, whatever they needed, whatever they had to have, what we did not get. And
yeah, okay,
it's called the guilt theory.
you're right.
Because we didn't have it, we said our kids was gonna have it by any means necessary, whether
Right,
we were behind on bills, whether it had messed up our credit. We did not think about it, and we don't care because the culture was built around us to say, "Hey, we live in the projects. Well, I'm not going to live in the projects. I'm going to go try to get this better home for my kids. I want to put them in a better neighborhood. I want to do this." So now your kids, but what left when we started doing that was the discipline
right,
behind it.
right.
Mm.
What
Because
left
despite, oh, go ahead.
was
Sorry.
what left was the discipline that said, I may buy you this, but I still expect good grades. I may buy you this, but I expect you to do chores when I come home from work. I will buy you this, but I expect my house to be clean. See, our parents might not have been the best, but they instilled morality and discipline, which
Now,
caused
Jason, wait. I don't know what you got. The I'm gonna give you something for doing good. My daddy stopped. My daddy didn't play
Right,
that because again, you have to go to that mentality. You're supposed to be getting good grades. So why am I rewarding you for something that's what my daddy always told me. Why am I rewarding you for something that you've already supposed to be doing?
yeah,
right.
And so that I had to get my child out of that because I was like, wait, why am I buying you gifts for getting, doing good on your report card? That's just a given. Okay.
right,
Let's give you a gift for you went exceedingly and above. I can see you giving you a gift for that.
right,
But for doing what you should be doing, like, nah, we don't celebrate that. Because again, I think that puts them back in that entitlement. Because hey, you're not finna go to work. Hey, I've been to work every day this week. I need an off break because now you getting entitled because you feel like you've done a good job. That's your job. You're
But
supposed to do
society
that.
has set it up that way. Society has set it up that way.
right.
I can't remember a time where these millennials actually can. So you know what I do, and I talk to a bunch of kids, young men, young Gen Zs or whatever y'all want to call it, Gen Xs. I don't know what this alphas, whatever they want to call it.
Right.
I don't lost track, So, but when I talk to this new generation, and you hear the amount of let's be real about when you're talking about black men talking older black men and younger black men trying to come together, it's hard for older people to comprehend because when we were growing up, depression was a lie.
Right,
When
right,
we were growing up, even though we might have had it, even though not saying you couldn't be depressed, but in our homes, depression was a lie. Anxiety was a lie. You just didn't want to do
Mhm.
it. You just didn't want to do what you wanted to do. But society transformed it to say, hey, it's okay for your kid if they want to sit in the home and they don't want to go meet people. If they don't want to talk, don't make them talk. Where our parents was like, you better get out there and make some friends. You better get out there and talk.
Yep.
You better get out of my goddamn house before I whip your ass. Like, let's be real about this whole thing.
well,
So
That's true.
as you've seen the culture evolve with society, is our breakdown in communication.
yeah,
Mm.
well,
Now these guys don't even want to see the front yard. Better yet, be out here talking to somebody.
mhm.
Go ahead, George.
I think what and I can speak to this. I've been to a lot of protests over the past couple of years and things like that, and dealt with the youth. And I think not only do they have issues with a an entitlement mindset, it's a victimhood mindset. I just a
Mm.
couple of weeks ago, I was sitting around there with, and I don't want to say too much, but I'll say it. A relative, 19 years old, $1,200 iPhone, ordering Chick-fil-A every day, doing what they want to do, and he had the nerve to talk about how the white man oppressing them. I'm like, is this what our young people on? I did a
Exactly.
whole video
Mm.
about it. I'm like, that's just incredulous to me, and I'm
And
like, where did
Joy.
they get this mindset from?
And ironically, that's the truth. You
Yeah.
can talk to them about what they feel pain is, and they're
Mhm.
gonna be like, "Well, I didn't get to go get my video game, so I hate my mama." Like,
Mm.
nigga, we was lucky to have one Atari to split between eight of us.
Okay.
We
We
were
was
And
over here blowing it.
But
hey,
see, that's really on us because I think that because a lot of us grew up with parents and we tried to try to mix how we raised our kids with how we were raised, and a lot of us really just overcompensated. Not only did we make sure they had everything materially, with the consequence of that is that's gonna slip as far as being permissive, and we let them get away with a lot more, and we didn't hold them accountable. It was if you did something instead of you being punished, not necessarily whooped, but punished or you having a consequence for that, oh, we'll let it slide. We
I'm
lowered
not
our
gonna lie to you.
standards.
I'm sick of people that what you just did. I'm sick of people going to not necessarily whoop. I am a person that advocately says whoop that ass.
Yeah, I'm like that too. But here's the thing: I always talk to my kids, so I really never had to whoop them because when
But
they
listen
did
though.
some, we always sat down. Now,
So
if
let me ask
somebody,
you. So with that, let me ask you a question because I got four
huh?
boys. Let
Yeah,
me ask you a question on that because I always talk about this when parents talk to me. This is what I say to them, especially new parents. Your kid between the ages of 2 and 5 is your window to get
right,
your kid right. If you miss that
Mm.
window, you're going to have a problem child down the line.
exactly.
What I mean by
Mm.
that is our parents had to see you don't hear too many kids fearing their parents anymore.
Mhm.
And when I say fear, I mean I'm 50 years old and I was with my mama at the funeral 2 weekends ago and everything was yes ma'am, no ma'am, love you, I'm not cussing. They tried to get me to show out. I'm like my mama here. Now when she left, I wowed out. But when she's there in the room with me, even when my dad was alive, the same respect. I don't cuss in front of my mama. I don't do anything
Right.
in front of my mama
Mhm.
because when you between those years is when the discipline is effective.
Yes.
We have went away from disciplining when they're little when it actually stings. See, when you're at 2 and you get popped on your hand, it hurt like they whooped you with a whole belt.
Yes, Lord.
So your brain starts to emulate, I don't like that. So let me not talk to my mama that way. Let
Right.
me to stop when she tell me to stop. These parents nowadays are talking to them at that age. And then you know how many calls I get from people I know that have old women, especially that have teenage boys like Jason, can you talk to them, please? And I'm like, talking is over. This is where you should be. I told one lady the other day, he don't respect your rules. When he go to school tomorrow, change the locks.
Exactly. And I've done that.
But you shouldn't have to get there. But it shows you that he doesn't have a respect for you because you didn't demand that respect when it was supposed to be. He was
Mhm.
when we had a debate in a men's group the other day. I told the women, stop calling your babies, your boys, your little boys, daddy. Stop telling them
Mm-mm.
that the man of the
Yeah, I
house.
can't stand
Now
that.
I've never even heard. I've heard of it, but I've never heard it in real life. I no.
I have, and
That
it is
you know what
disgusting.
a lot of black women are committed with their sons, and I'm gonna go nuclear on this. It's a term I came up with called emotional incest. They are
Yep,
using these boys to replace the man that they
Mm.
don't have, and it's messing these boys up.
absolutely.
It is screwing these,
Wow.
and it ain't about no single motherhood and all that, cause you can okay, this a whole nother discussion. But these women are committing real emotional incest with these boys, and they making them into punks.
You know what? I want to, since you said that, I had a question. Do the pressure to provide financially, yeah, to financially provide, does that provide an emotional disconnect between raising a son and, like parenting?
Yeah, because boys are logical and women
Mhm.
are emotional. So what boys have it typically to do is figure out what will get you to buy them what they need. And most women get caught up in that because so a boy will come in and say, all my mom told me to do was, and I used to do it, don't get it twisted. I would do it to my mom. When my mom and dad split, I would do this exact same thing. I figured out that as long as we kept the house clean, I'm gonna get whatever I want.
Right.
And
Because
right.
It worked, huh?
that ties into men being providers because men are only valued when they provide something.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the catch. George is exactly right about what he said. But here's the catch to this. Even though I would do the things that I needed to make her happy to get what I wanted, I still was taught by my dad, on the other hand, and my uncles that hey, you need to get out here. This driveway needs to be shoveled.
Right.
This grass needs to be cut.
There was still the
Get out this
presence.
yard.
Right.
Yeah, there was, and one person in the comments did say, I'm gonna read the comment. Parents need to install manners and acting respect for the women and children back into the home. And the
Right.
thing,
No, really,
Right.
really.
and the thing about that, when you say things like that, I understand. But here's where the problem is with young men, and I think Georgia agreed with me on this because a lot of people do after I say it, but I hate saying it. These young men think they're the man of their home from the time they are 9, 8, 7, 6.
And
They're told this over and over and
over.
over. And moms have a tendency, like, let's not talk about. I understand a single mother, you got to teach them to be this and you got to do everything. And the dad is over here playing. I was one of those dads, so I'm not disrespecting anybody because I wasn't all, I lived in Texas. My kids lived in Nebraska. So I had to parent from afar. But my kids, they knew that if I turned around and said, hey, oh, so you got in trouble on this day? Okay, I'll be up there by the end of the month. Just be ready. They knew that when I got there, I don't care if you did it on the first of the month. If I got there on day 30 of that month, that ass whooping is for the first of the month. It's gonna happen before we do anything else.
Not a late ass woman.
Right.
It ain't nothing
But
like a late ass woman. When you about to
these
go to
kids
sleep and think you go get your
these kids these kids grow up thinking that they run their home, and then what happens is when they get to be teenagers, moms have a tendency to forget that you gave him this identity.
yeah.
So now when he talks back and he disrespects you and he's walking around because now he didn't came into, he didn't I'm gonna say
Ooh.
this and no disrespect, sorry T, but his nuts dropped
Mm-hmm.
and he feeling himself because he didn't got his first little piece. Now
Mm-hmm.
y'all can't figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's to say something to that, Jason. Like, okay, so you got moms who do that, but you got two things. I think one that goes back to generationals back
Right.
when daddies used to have to leave the house home, and what did they always look into their son? Hey, you in charge now. You
Yeah,
make sure your
Yeah.
mama
Yeah.
good, make sure your daddy good, and that got passed down just like plenty of everything else do. And I think that's also where that comes from. But then you also have these parents, I'm going to say moms, I'm a mom, but I'm not a mama son. But you have moms, like you said, that put their sons in those positions. And here's where it comes to play. When mom can't pay the light bill or mom can't do this, and she's like, oh, here, you living here, you 18, pay this bill. I need you to pay this bill. Now, like you said, he's smelling himself because now you done put him in that position. And how can you look at a child who's 18 and say, oh, no, you got a curfew? How? And then you got them paying rent. How? And you got them paying the light bill? Because that disrespect is gone now. Their respect is gone because you put them in that position.
Right.
I actually had this conversation with someone who was in that position. The mom had his son pay on a light bill or pay on rent because now he's technically 18. And so he feels like he can come in the house whenever he feel like it. So she's calling me like, well, what am I supposed to do? Shit, I don't know. Because you didn't
nothing.
put him in a position to now he think
Hey,
that, hey,
you know
I'm
what you
paying
can
rent.
do?
I can't do what
You
I
know
want to
what you
do.
can do? Stop taking his money. Tell him he got 30 days to find an apartment
Right.
if he don't want to go by your rules.
Or
See,
give
But
them
how,
or
okay, so
give
I hear
let's
that.
go
I
back.
hear that.
Let's go back to the first. Let's address the first thing you said first because I was waiting on that one. Um,
Okay. The
when
generational.
when dads would leave the house in that aspect and they made that statement to their son, it typically was their son who was the oldest, and he was already scared to death and had respect for his parents. So when they separated or they were forced out because they went to jail or the mom took on food stamps or whatever, when that happened, that statement was made because it was typically the kid he was talking to probably already was playing a role next to his dad.
Mhm.
When his dad would go to work, he's the one to pick up the kids and make sure they got home. And if mama wasn't home yet, then you made sure you fed them. So he was already doing that role.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about that in the sense of a single mom having their baby or their little boy and they're saying simple stuff like you're the man of the house, you're daddy, then when you try to go date you wonder why you can't keep a man, because I'd be damned if I come into your home and somebody, a kid half my age, is talking to me like I'm crazy.
I've had it happen.
So have I.
Mm-mm.
I've
So have
had
I.
it happen. I got a story right there.
I had one where I had to tell the girl I was dating prior to Melissa. I had to tell her. I said, "Hey, if I beat your son up, we can't be together."
Well,
Because
what I did in my situation when that happened, I just got up, didn't say nothing, packed my stuff, left, didn't ever talk to her no more. I
no,
didn't even do that.
I
I
beat
just
him
left.
up. No, I beat him up.
Right.
He turned around and did something so totally disrespectful.
Uh huh.
He spit on me.
How? Oh, damn. How old was he?
He had just turned 18.
Oh, damn. You right
And
for
Oh
this.
but he
yeah,
was
he was
so
he was popping balls.
disrespectful. He was so disrespectful before though. But he was doing it to his mom, and she expected me to step in. Well, here's something I'm gonna give older men a little thing. If you meet somebody with a woman, understand, even if she gives you permission to whoop her kids, you will go to jail.
Right. Right.
Even if she gives you
Mm.
permission, the only way that law does not apply is if you guys are married, because
Yeah.
then you take on a responsibility of that
Right.
child. But if you are just dating and living together, you are going to go to jail. So what happened was,
Right.
as he was disrespecting his mom, I would just stand in front of her to protect her. And that's where he felt like I was a punk. He felt like, oh, these younger dudes, they feel like when you don't put your hands on them or you're not fighting back, that you're a punk. They don't understand that we have the knowledge to understand that I'm not going to jail for you.
Right. And
So
plus,
when
we
he
will hurt them.
Right. So when he turned 18 and he spit on me and I launched on him, I just put him in a finger like I stole on him, and then I put him in a headlock. The whole time he's down there crying for his mom, and he had
Mm-hmm.
hurt his heart when his mom said, "No, this is what you've been asking for.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you
Mm.
crying now?"
Right.
Wow. I
That's right.
wanna George, I wanna ask you, I know you gotta go here soon, but I wanna ask you like what I had it right here. What is it? What is one thing that we should be teaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our young black men to prepare them for the world, for the outside world.
Hmm.
I mean, one is not to face Jason, of course.
No, don't do that. But you're right
Don't
though.
do that.
I guess understand, and I think we infantilize our boys too much, but just we got to kind of push them out the nest a little bit more than what we've been doing, and instill that accountability in them. Because really, when they turn about 15 and they start smelling themselves, that's when you're gonna start having issues. But you know they got to understand about the world, and the world don't care nothing about your feelings. The world don't care nothing about you being black. The world, you're gonna have to get out there and get it. And I see a lot of young men staying at home 25, 26. My son was 17 and was disrespectful. I told you got to kick rocks right now. I didn't see him for a year. And then
Wow.
when they came back to him, he said, "Dad, I needed this." He said, "I needed you to do that. That's the only way I learned." And so many, especially in terms of single mothers, they cuddle their boys so tight they basically breastfeed them at 20 and 30 years old. And we
But
got to stop doing that.
But George, let me cut in on that. So what George just said is the reason why you women come on and be like, that man is a mama's boy, and I can't break him of that, so that we feel like so many men are weak, because you guys hold them so long that you feel like, oh, if he get a girlfriend, I got a say in their relationship because he's steady running back. Because when boys tell me that their mom is their best friend, but yet they've been with a girl for like 2 to 3 years, I tell that girl, you better run.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you come to
Mm,
say, when he says, I want to marry you, it's going to be you, him, and his mama. Y'all might as well all three stand up at that altar
mm,
Yeah.
because she ain't going to get out of your life. And everything he do from that point on is going to be his mama's permission. You are
Yeah.
second. And that's where most of the problems come in because, like George said, boys, when they turn a certain age, we should be preparing them to be men of the world. Meaning,
yes.
you turn 15, that means you got chores in this house, you got this in this house. See, daughters are meant to be coddled and emotionalized, but we're doing the opposite in our culture. We are um, we are putting women into men's place, little
Mhm.
girls. I done seen so many little girls kicked out of their house by their mom for doing the same thing that their brothers are doing. But the girls get to
Mm,
stay. But the
Right.
girls are getting kicked out on the streets.
that's competition. It's always competition. I don't care what nobody says. Somewhere in the line between the mother and the daughter,
Right.
at some point.
And,
Um,
and we've
But
allowed the black we
not to a mother who's mature enough to understand that my daughter is not my competition.
not facts.
right.
Yes, correct,
Right.
correct. Sorry, what were you saying, George?
We've allowed the station of black men in terms of even how we speak about how a lot of times women speak about us as black men to be devalued so much that really is, usurps our authority in the household because if you constantly hearing black men ain't this, black men ain't this, your dad ain't this, your dad ain't that, that's gonna make it sometimes it can cause a chasm between you and your child, especially a son, where they don't see you as a man.
Yes,
You have women that
yes.
actually say your dad ain't no man and he paying child support and say
But
get him
black
every
men,
weekend, but this
but
stuff
George,
still happen.
to black men, I hold you to this accountability because I had to do it. My
Mhm.
baby moms never talked down on me to my kids, but we had our own little issues that my kids saw, right? So
Right.
I challenge black men that when your kids get to a certain age, you can't blame their mama no more.
Exactly.
It's up to you to
Exactly.
go
Take that
sit
It's
down
up
with
to
your
accountability
you.
and have
son
that
and
conversation with
have
her
that
Right.
and them.
conversation with
Yes.
no, just with your son. Once my kids got to a certain age, I went and got all four of them, pulled them in. We went to Great Wolf Lodge. I set them down in a hotel room, and I said, "Y'all got all day to tell me what the problem that y'all have with me."
Mhm.
Because a lot of times your kids have it when it comes to men. Men don't do what women do. When we go get our kids, we're not talking about y'all. We don't
No.
badmouth y'all. We don't disrespect y'all.
Uh,
But when they come back to y'all and you have a hurt heart or hurt feelings or anything, the dad gets downplayed. So what I did was bring them in a room and let them tell me how they felt. Then I went and explained each and every scenario that they felt like I wasn't there. I explained why. I explained, but when you wanted that car, did you have the money? Yeah. Mom bought it. No, dad bought it. Here's the
right.
receipt.
But see, that go back to what you said earlier. Your presence matter.
Yes.
Presence definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, because it confuses the child. That's why most of these men nowadays are emotionally unstable. I've never seen a generation of more emotional men than I have in this past generation. These men, and I'm not saying emotional like healthy crying. I'm talking about I see more men yelling and fussing like women than I do see
Yeah.
women.
Well, I'm
Facts.
a it's a word I use, but I don't know if I'm gonna need to use it here. What my phenomenon for what it's called, and I say this on every podcast I do. We have there's been a pussification of the black male over the past
Yes,
40 years.
there is, and
It's a
it's but
So
it's
not the
pussification, and
word
but
and
is
hold
and,
in
and
on,
I
here
see it
tonight.
every
but
day. And
it's systematically set up for that too, though.
yeah, yeah,
It's
because
not just
back
on us.
yeah, back when they started issuing entitlement programs and they started making rules, well, we'll give you eight. They basically married a black woman from the black man to the government.
Yeah,
And that's where a lot of problems started because the government jobs became more valuable to you than having a man in the house. When the welfare lady coming by, you got to hide his slacks up under the bed because you ain't supposed to have a man around. And when you don't have a man around, and now you got this culture of masculine women that sit around and say, I don't need a man, but yet and still he see oh, I don't want to say that. But and you devalue the black man, how you expect it? And then you don't think about when you say your dad ain't stuff, how you think that boy gonna view himself?
right.
Exactly.
But also,
Yeah,
let's take
that's
it
true.
a step further than that. As black young males, when we hear that, me being one myself, and how my mom talked bad about my dad, I saw my dad as competition. I'm going to be
Right.
better than him.
Right.
You can't tell me nothing because I got to do better than what you did. You can't
Right.
And you
come
ain't do nothing.
right. When
Right.
all along, let's not get it twisted. If that man is trying to work and he's doing what he got to do, and those child support is coming in, or those bills are being paid from his money that's being sent to you from the government, it's up to the moms to say, hey, your dad did this, your dad was
Right.
this person,
Right.
because they look at that. And I'll tell you why I say this. A friend of mine, somebody I'm mentoring, just had a baby. Before he had the baby, he told me that the girl, he didn't know if he wanted to be with the girl. I said, well, if you're going to go down that road, I need you to go to court, and I need you to fight for paternal rights. Because if
Yes.
you understand the rights, the mother has the rights. Because the baby comes from her, she is the number one parent. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care how you take your baby and go to another state without telling the mama, they coming to arrest you.
Yep. The mama
Yeah.
too, she do it.
Yeah. When
Yep.
my oldest son turned 11, he needs to be around his dad. I got custody of him. I went to
Yeah.
court and got custody of
So
him.
it
That
was
last
little
year.
things like that
That's
that what
good.
George is saying, that little things like that is what we need to do. We
Right.
need to educate these young men on how to better themselves. But here's the problem. Like I said, we live in a culture, I won't say what George said, but we live in a culture where these men are more emotional than they are logical. So they don't look at things until after something happens.
Right.
What I mean by that is they turn around and will shoot somebody over stepping on their shoes and not think about
Mm-hmm.
the consequences, so that judge drops the gavel and say you got 18 years.
Yeah. Then they want to cry.
That's true. That is so true. So true. Y'all,
And the
I
first,
hate.
yeah,
Go ahead. No, no, no. Go ahead.
I was saying, and the first thing they do is holler for their mama.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. First phone call. Now, I don't hate to close this conversation, Georgia. I hate you gotta go because it's getting good.
Yeah, we can do it
Um,
again. We can do it again.
yeah, I definitely want to run this back, y'all, and do a part two because in three and four, because this was really good. I felt like we covered a lot. But I have a lot more to talk about and questions that we can dive into.
Great.
So, George, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on the show
you.
tonight.
Thank you.
Jason, you too, of course. You know it's always fun with you. It's like a back home party when Jason get on.
Yeah.
So, but George, tell them like where they can follow you, how they can get in contact with you, and
Okay.
all that good stuff.
Well, the best way to do it is follow me on Facebook under George P. Brooks. Saturday morning, February 21st, which will be my birthday, I'm competing in a global debate online. They're going to be releasing that on my page. It's going to be on the topic of whether social media is impeding or encouraging real leadership. So that's something I'm looking forward to. So join me there. I'll post links on my Facebook page, and it'll be at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry it's so early, but this is something new I'm doing. I'm trying to expand my horizons, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to do that. So thank you all. Thank you for having me on. And Dr. Dixon, it's been a pleasure, sir.
Same. Talk to you later.
Yes, sir.
Yes, y'all make sure y'all go follow George. He is definitely full of knowledge and wisdom, and we love to have you here on the Real Raw Talk Show. So we definitely gonna be bringing him back, y'all, because this was just a hot topic, and it got good, it got spicy. So I'm looking forward
You're off,
to
George.
Jason, I definitely can't wait for you to come back and George as well, so we can follow this up with some more of manhood, brotherhood, and talking about these men, and growing up having young black men and the impact that we make as a society, but more specifically that black men have on our black youth. So,
Absolutely.
Jason, you want to give them your credentials and where they can follow you at?
You guys know y'all can just come catch me on Facebook under Jason Dixon. Any all platforms Jason Dixon, except for the businesses, which is promoted till something happens, or Nostalgic Radio, where we do. Y'all know y'all can catch me every day. I'm behind the scenes on any show. Once you see that button goes live, I'm behind the scenes trying to help my people make theirs and make their comments a little bit better. Nostalgic Radio motto is to make the world better, one little station at a time. So I love what you're doing. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. Y'all make sure y'all check out Nostalgic Network or Nostalgic Radio everywhere. Make sure y'all tap in with Jason. Y'all, it's been a time. I know we cutting it short tonight, but that just means you gotta come back, okay? You gotta subscribe, you gotta follow, so you can make sure to catch the next hot topic that we gonna be having for sure, okay? And you don't want to miss next week, okay? We got a new special guest coming talking about fashion and all things with suits and ties and clothes and attire. Okay, but we're gonna talk about his journey in the fashion industry. So y'all stay tuned for that. That's next week. And of course, everybody want to get real till it's time to talk. So let's talk. And we're gonna catch your girl T Pretty Smile next Thursday. Your girl is out.
Have you ever had to rewind a movie because you couldn't believe the plot twist or you couldn't believe the ending? This is the movie today, and we're going to discuss this. Let's jump into this week's To Be Tuesday. This week, film director is in the right ministry for film industry. You understand what I'm saying? Baby, when I say he delivered, he delivered. Let's jump into this week's film, Smoke and Ashes, for this week's To Be Tuesday. Grab your snacks and let's come on talk about it. You got a cast that not only brought this film to television, but they brought it to my living room. The way that I was laughing and hollering at the cast in this film, child, I know my neighbors are sick of me. I know they're sick of me. Two best friends since kids have been running that street life together. Now you got Driller who wants to continue living that street life, and you got Triller who actually wants to take his life to a whole different direction. He wants to be a good citizen. He wants to be a role model. He wants to be a positive influence. Before Triller can change his ways or even be that positive role model that he wants to be, he gets caught with a charge, and this charge changes Triller and Driller's relationship forever. Smoke and Ashes is that film that's gonna make you rethink everything that you had watched, okay? It's gonna make you go back and be like, where did I miss the red flags? Now, with Triller's sister being a lawyer, he was able to get out of jail. Triller comes home to tell his big brother that he no longer wants to be in the streets. Now, his big brother Boogie is the king of the streets, and baby, he was serving Denzel's training day, okay? Boogie reminded me of my brother. The way he hooked him up when he got out of jail, baby, car, house, girls, and everything else, that's my brother, okay? He gonna supply what I need. He gonna have my back at all times. And Triller finds out that his friend Driller is out here in these streets moving real shiesty. And I mean like grimy from the pits of hell. While Driller out here getting his flock together, Triller begins working at a youth center where he begins to be the positive influence he wants to be. While Triller begins working at this youth center, well, he gets a hit with death left and right. His sister passed away. Boogie, his brother, passed away. Baby, and it causes him to really make some tough decisions that he really don't want to have to make. But hey, when it comes to family, it's smoke and ashes. Who is the killer and out here killing his whole family? Now let's talk plot twists. When you thought you figured out the film and what was going to happen and what you thought was expected, baby, totally unexpected, okay? Mouth was in my lap. Now I'm going to leave y'all hanging because this movie is worth the watch. Now, does Triller make the right decision and does he get revenge or does he continue to be the positive role model? Now, you know to come back next week for To Be Tuesday.
I'm so raw and uncut, and they know. And they know.
Schaefer, that's a hit. For real.
I'm so raw and uncut, and they know. And I'm blessed from the tip from my head to my toes. This here is the real raw. Let's talk. Show. And if you wanna learn some, sit back and listen to me flow. If it's about some money, let's talk about it. If it can change the world, let's talk about it. If you're an entrepreneur, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. If it's about